want to welcome you to our Sueur City Council meeting dated November 10, 2025. I apologize, we're just a few minutes late tonight. We had a long work session, and we will be starting at this time. I will call the meeting in order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Council members, you all received your packets over the weekend. Hopefully you had time to reach out with any questions. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. So moved. Thank you, Councilmember Schleter. Second, Councilmember Williams. Any other discussion? Any other comments, concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to the consent agenda, all items on the consent agenda considered routine have been made available to the City Council at least 2 days in advance of the meeting. These items will be enacted in one motion, and there will be no separate discussion on these items unless the council member so citizens so request, in which event it will be removed from the agenda and considered in normal sequence. Mr. Roby, do you want to go over these with us, please?
First, Mr. Mayor, I believe we have.
I would like to request that the disbursements be moved to the end of the agenda.
Okay. We have a motion to accept tonight's agenda with disbursements moved to the regular agenda.
And I can do a walkthrough, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like, first of the remaining items on the consent agenda before that motion.
Sure.
If you wish. Yeah. The remaining items on the consent agenda. The first is approval of City Council minutes from the October 27th, 2025 regular meeting. Moving on to item C, approval of payment application number 4, Design Church Utility Improvements Project. Item D, approved payment application number 1 for the Distal Drive and Catalina Court Storm Sewer Project. Item E, approved payment application number 6 for the 2025 Street Utility Improvements Project. Item F, approved payment application number 5 for the North 4th Street Electric Distribution Project. And item G, approved 1 personnel action, which is hiring of a full-time police officer. This is not a net new position.
I will second the motion. Motion's been made by Council Member Smith, seconded by Councilmember Sullivan, to accept tonight's consent agenda with the exception of the expense report that was given to us. That will be moved to the regular agenda. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to public comment. Hey, did you check the? We have Mr. Brad Bezick. You signed. I don't know if you want to get up and address the council. How are you doing, sir? You want to give us your address, please?
278 Elmwood Avenue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bezick.
I'm a little frustrated with the recent purchase of the school, being that the school district misappropriated funds that in the referendum was supposed to tear it down. So now we're passing that on to the residents of the city versus the whole school district. I don't know what else to say about that, I guess.
We hear your frustrations. We appreciate your participation here and duly noted. Thank you. And there is no other public comment, I don't think. So that'll take us on to City Administrator update, Mr. Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, we've got a good crowd tonight, so if you haven't signed up for Smart Hub already, do it. And if you don't, I'll remind you at the next meeting. I want to thank everyone who participated in the Green Scene Business Retention and Expansion Group visit on Thursday, October 30th. We had a great turnout, and it was a nice opportunity to showcase Sueur's agribusinesses. I also want to thank everyone who participated in the Trick or Treat on Main event on Halloween. I know everyone who handed out candy and stuff ran out awfully quickly, so everyone will be overstocking next year. Just a reminder, if you But already there are multiple organizations and individuals that have already stepped up to help the most vulnerable in our community during the uncertainty around food benefits. Our local food shelf does a great job supporting our community. I know the Sueur Library is having kind of its independent food shelf, and there are other organizations that are providing some stopgap support. Public Works and Facilities hosted a snow day event for city staff to showcase the snow removal equipment as they gear up for the season. I want to thank the Public Works crew for putting that together. There was a leaf vacuum sighting in the Sueur last week and probably this morning, in fact. So I just want to call attention to that. The city staff, Public Works, was demoing that. We don't currently, as most residents know, we don't currently have a program for removing leaves from the curb line or the boulevard of the street sweeper right now. And there had some inquiries into setting up a program like that. So the Public Works team borrowed a unit. We do not own it, and we do not currently have a program, but it was insightful to learn more about the potential for a future program should the City Council elect to implement one. The Planning Commission has a meeting this Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Everyone is invited on Wednesday, December 3rd. The City of Sueur is hosting the Sueur County Officials Meeting, which will feature Representative Terry Steer and Senator Rich Draheim. We'll be down here in council chambers, and the bar is catering. The future of the City Forum, at long last, we can announce the new date and time. It'll be Wednesday, December 10th at the middle school, high school from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. This is hosted by the Planning Commission and was canceled because the Giants football were doing really well or something like that. City Hall will be closed tomorrow in observance of Veterans Day. We want to thank all of our veterans for their service. Next meeting will be Monday, November 24th.
Thank you. Any council members have any questions regarding his report? If not, that'll take us into the regular agenda. And that'll start with item 7A, resolution R 2025-055, design and UC construction agreement. Mr. Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Council earlier this year approved the Zion Church Utility Improvements Project. We've seen some payment applications come through on that. This was a public project led by the city to address some failing storm sewer and sanitary sewer mains that run across private property. That private property is owned by the Sueur Zion United Church of Christ. And over the course of the project, the city and the church have negotiated terms of an agreement to share the cost of private improvements. The church wanted to redo the southern parking lot at their property while the city was doing this work. This has actually been a long-awaited project. Any members of Zion UCC in the audience tonight will recognize that this is a project that's been in the works for somewhere between 10 and 20 years. So we finally got to stick the landing on this one. The church was very excited to get the parking lot redone. The resolution in front of City Council tonight includes the agreement that outlines the cost share terms, and I can certainly take any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions regarding this item? If not, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution R 2025-055 as presented. Councilmember Williams. Second by Councilmember Schlater. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Takes us on to item 7B. This is resolution R 2025-057, certification of delinquent utility accounts. Mr. Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll turn it over immediately to Mr. Graff.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So tonight we are proposing this resolution for the certification of delinquent utility accounts. Summaries there to the left. Just to recap, we pulled these balances at the end of August. We sent letters out to those property owners the first week of September. There was about 435 letters. almost $650,000 was the balance then. The current list that we're proposing is there's 144 accounts with a balance of $426,779.27. That is, for reference, essentially the same number as last year, which was kind of what we had expected as we've done this over the years. It grew for a few years, but once we had a like-for-like sample with late fees and penalties in there, that number has stayed kind of consistent from last year. So this is what we are asking for approval. There's an attached list of all of the accounts, and we will send that to the county sometime in December. Usually the number is a little bit less by the time we send it to them for final certification. So with that, I can take any questions or comments.
Anybody?
I do. I have a couple questions. Does it cost to report these to the county? Does the county charge us, I guess, basically?
No,
No. Do they take a percentage of it when they collect it?
no, not of these amounts. If for something, if they weren't paid and we're delinquent, then I think they take a portion of that delinquent amount on property taxes, but not of these numbers that we're presenting.
Okay, 'cause I know one of the numbers I noticed in here was one being sent for $1.08.
For $1.08 was on this list.
It's on the last page.
Yeah, it's probably for an inactive account or something that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were gonna be like paying the county more than what we'd be collecting.
Oh, for that, no.
Thank you. Anybody else? For those of you out there who don't understand how the certification works, Mr. Roby, this report to the county, and then they collect it on the 10th or the 15th of May and the 15th of October every year. And property cannot be sold until that's been satisfied.
That's correct. The delinquent amounts are certified to the property. This process certification differs from something like the street utility project assessments, which the city council typically sets a longer term associated with the debt itself. Historically, the city council has assigned these certified amounts to be collected the following year. So they are, as long as someone pays their property taxes in 2026, this amount, any amount that's certified associated with that property is collected along with property taxes, and will show up on the property statement as a special assessment.
Thank you. With that said, I would entertain a motion if anybody would like to adopt resolution R 2025-057 as presented. It would be the certification of delinquent utilities. So moved. Thank you, Councilmember Sullivan.
Second.
Councilmember Schleter seconded. Any other comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to agenda item 7C, that be resolution R 2025-058, the Sueur County Auditor Election Agreement. Mr. Wilbur.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is somewhat of a formality, but this is the first year that we can determine that the county has actually sent a specific agreement related to this arrangement. The Sueur County Auditor's Office is the designated administrator of local elections. We operate like boots on the ground, the elections that take place at our polling site, but they are the overall administrator. So they provide equipment and materials, including the tabulators, ballots, things like that. City provides the polling place itself and the election judges and some other bits and pieces to actually hold the elections. Historically, the city's fee to the county's auditor's office to defray a portion of some of the larger capital items that the county allows us to use for elections is $1,200. They're proposing that to be the same amount in 2026. 2026 is we will have both primary and general elections. The agreement as proposed would also designate the county auditor's office as the city's absentee ballot board. So they would receive any and all absentee ballots for our precinct and tabulate them and enter them in the system on behalf.
Thank you, Mr. Roby. Anybody, questions, comments? If not, I will entertain
Is this is the first time the county's asked for that?
For a specific agreement, yes, we have, typically they just send an invoice for use of the materials, but this is the first time it's been formalized, outlined in an agreement.
Thank you.
And the terms of the agreement are consistent with the support the county has provided in the past.
With that, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution R 2025-058 as presented. Thank you, Councilmember Schrader. Councilmember Williams, second. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to 7D, that'd be the 2026 Fire Chief recommendation. Mr. Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Annually, the Sueur Fire Department makes a recommendation for the following year's fire chief. The recommendation comes into me. City administrator evaluates the candidate qualifications prior to recommendation to City Council. Typically happens every year in the November timeframe. Jesse Wenish, who currently serves as the fire chief, has served as the fire chief since 2019. He has served our community and service area admirably. Today's his birthday. So with that, I can certainly take any questions, or you can sing happy birthday to him because he's here.
Anybody?
Can I just ask what the process is? Does the gang vote or?
Chief Wenish, would you care to come up to the podium and describe the process? The nominating process, please.
Council members, Mayor, yeah, so each year in October, we always have the annual election of officers, so we go through it. Back in the day, it used to be kind of a more informal thing, and now that we're moved on from that, they'll elect the fire chief, and from there, go to recommendations here, and then after that, I'll go through the interview process with the other officers, the assistant chiefs, lieutenants, and captains.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Schrader looked like he's going to say something. Well, with that said, I will entertain a motion to reappoint Jesse Wenish as our Sueur Fire Chief for 2026.
So moved.
Thank you, Councilmember Sullivan.
Second.
Councilmember Williams seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Wenish, congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
And then we appreciate your service to the city as we do with all the other department members. Thank you. Which takes us into item 7E, which is more firefighter business, and the resolution R 2025-059, the retirement benefit level increase for the Sueur Fire Department volunteers. Mr. Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The details are outlined in the memo here and in the resolution, but generally the Sueur Fire Department volunteer firefighters participate in what's called the PARA SVF, State Volunteer Firefighter Plan for Retirement. The current benefit level is $5,300 per year of vested service in the department. The fire department has requested an increase to $5,600 per year of service. The previous increase to the benefit level was back in December of 2021 when City Council authorized an increase from $5,000 to $5,300. Per PARA rules, any benefit level increase must be passed by Council via a resolution following the format that they recommend. That's what's attached here, Resolution R 2025-059. And I want to add that each year the fire chief and I receive an audited report from the accountants at PARA showing what our current service level is, what the potential service level increases could be, how much the fund can withstand in terms of any change to that benefit level. And so the proposed benefit level of $5,600 is manageable within the current level of the fund right now, which is funded every year through Minnesota State Aid. It earns interest on the investment. So the vesting schedule is included in your memos, but if you have any questions, I can certainly answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Roby. Appreciate it. Anybody? I can't believe it's been 4 years since we changed this. With that said, I will entertain a motion to adopt resolution R 2025-059 as presented. Thank you, Councilmember Williams.
Second.
Seconded, Councilmember Sullivan. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Takes us on to agenda item 7F, that'd be ordinance 616 on first reading. Mr. Roby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Sueur Charter, which is kind of like the Bill of Rights for local law, contains references and guides to election-related petitions. So all of you had to fill out a petition where you had to get signatories, present that, and a filing fee in order to end up on the ballot. The organization of those petitions, the formatting of those petitions is dictated by state law. And specifically, an update to Minnesota law that requires that petitions for elections contain a field for signatories to provide a year of birth to validate that they are of legal voting age. The city's charter thus must be amended to include a petition format that includes year of birth. We brought this to the Charter Commission back in September and asked for their guidance and recommendation, and they directed staff to prepare a draft ordinance for City Council consideration to bring the city charter in line with state rules. City Clerk Daney worked with our city attorney to draft ordinance 616, which would amend the city charter, effectively bringing the petition formats into compliance with state law.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I will look for a volunteer to read ordinance 616 or get somebody to recommend that we waive that. Reading.
We'll wait for reading. First reading.
Thank you, Councilmember Sullivan. Made a motion to waive reading ordinance 616. Seconded by Councilmember Schrader. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor? Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Which takes us back to the consent agenda, which was called the disbursements through November 10, 2025. Mr. Roby, you want to give a little summary on what we're going to do?
Yes, rather brief, Mr. Mayor. As staff do as a standard for each city council meeting, they've prepared a list of all expenses through the meeting date for city council consideration, and staff would look for a motion to approve the disbursements through today as presented.
Any discussion on this?
Oh, yeah, I do. I have a couple. One thing I noticed is that we do pay for a lot of cleaning. How often do our city buildings get cleaned?
The schedule varies by site. I can get you a specific schedule for each building.
I guess, can you get that to me then?
Yes.
I'll ask that, I'll figure that out on that one. My other question was on the bike, but, since then we found out that it was paid for by a grant. So my questions on that is, how often, or who has the authority to apply and accept grants for the city?
So each grant works a little bit differently. Some grants require the specific approval, usually in the form of a resolution from the governing body of the organization. So city council will see that in grant applications from time to time that we will bring forward and require city council approval even to apply. Some don't require it to apply, but require the city governing body to approve the acceptance of the award. So an example would be the DNR American Legion Park grant. That application required city council approval even to apply, and then will require city council approval in order to accept the funds. For many of the grants that city staff apply for, specifically those that do not encumber city funds, they do not require the authority of the city council. And so typically what we'll see is either I will authorize those grants, the grant applications, or city directors have the authority to apply for small grants as well to support their departments if they're not encumbering city funds.
Correct, because according to our city charter, the city council is supposed to approve all contracts, so wouldn't a grant applicator, a grant agreement basically be a contract that the city council would have to approve?
It would depend on the type, it would depend on the type of the grant specifically. So sometimes that's where if the terms of the grant agreement suggest that an authority, someone who has the authority to enter into contracts needs to authorize it, we would bring it forward to city council. If it's not, if the terms are not as specific and again, don't encumber city funds, I mean, we could look certainly with the city attorney.
Well, just with all the, I guess, stuff that happened over the weekend over this spike, I was reached out, several residents reached out to me over the weekend about it, and I had no clue that it was a grant. I think we need to have a little bit more transparency and a little more communication to the residents and to the city council when if these expenses are being approved for grants.
Is there any other questions regarding the expenses?
That it had to do with this expense.
Right, any other questions regarding these expenses? Okay, with that said, I will entertain a motion to approve disbursements through November 10, 2025 as presented. Thank you, Councilmember Schrader. Second, Councilmember Sullivan. Any other discussion, comments, concerns? If not, all those in favor? Anybody opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on to reports and items of appreciation. Council members, this is your opportunity to share what's going on in your community, what's going on with your commissions, and we will start tonight with Councilmember Nelson.
It is nothing to report.
Nothing tonight. Okay, Councilmember Schrader.
I attended one of the Green Team meetings on the 30th, and the gathering afterwards was very informational. And there's a planning commission meeting that I'll be attending on Thursday. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Smith.
First of all, I'd like to say happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. I also would like to say that I am very proud of the Sueur spirit that's been showing up this past week in creating temporary food banks and organizing GoFundMe's for fundraisers to help those that are affected by the government shutdown. And just give me a very big sense of pride for us citizens.
Very nice. Thank you, Councilmember Smith. Councilmember Sullivan.
The only thing I have for tonight is prior to our EDA meeting at the last, prior to the last meeting, the EDA did sign a purchase agreement for the school property. That was not an action of the city council. So it sounds like, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, it sounds like the school is in agreement with the purchase of that and the property on Kingswood for development.
That's correct. The school board did approve both purchase agreements with the Sueur EDA, which is a body politic and corporate separate from the city council, though there are obviously some close ties, but it was not the purchase agreements are specifically with the Sueur EDA and the LSH school district.
Anything else, Mr. Sullivan? That's it? Okay. Moving on to Councilmember Williams.
I'd just like to make mention of the trick or treat. I know it was well attended and I feel good about the community doing that, and also reiterate what Wendy said about the community food banks that are popping up here and there. I know that SNAP benefits are really hurting some people, so it's nice to do whatever you can to support the food shop.
Thank you. And I have nothing to add tonight. I appreciated your comments on the Veterans Day tomorrow. Do you know what time that celebration is up at the high school tomorrow?
8:15.
8:15.
8:15. So if anybody has some time to get up here, it's a nice celebration we can. With that, I will entertain a motion to dismiss tonight's meeting. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? The ayes have it.